Hello and cześć. Welcome to the Warsaw Narrative, the first English language podcast about the history of Warsaw. This is a new channel, so if you find this episode interesting, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. Before we start, a warning. Some listeners might find the topic of this episode disturbing. In the winter of 1944, during the German occupation of Warsaw, a strange and morbid ceremony took place in what is now known as the Presidential Palace on Krakowskie Przedmieście. A living woman married a dead man. The corpse groom was the SS General Franz Kutschera, known as the Butcher of Warsaw. Born in Austria into a poor gardener's family, Kutscherę was also a gardener before joining the Nazis. He rose through the ranks and under Heinrich Himmler's orders was sent to Warsaw with a clear mission: to terrorize the city. Kutscherę assumed the role of commander of the SS and police in the Warsaw district in September 1943. His reign of terror began quickly with daily mass arrests and public executions. Around 300 people were executed every week. It didn't take long for the Polish resistance, known as the Home Army, Armia Krajowa, to sentence him to death. On February 1st, 1944, 4 months after Kutscherę's arrival, the resistance set a trap for the Butcher of Warsaw. At the intersection of Aleja Róż and Aleje Ujazdowskie, near his residence, the resistance was waiting. Shortly after 9 a.m., as Kutscherę left for work in his car, the road was blocked by another vehicle driven by a resistance member. 2 other resistance fighters approached Kutscherę's car and fired through the open passenger window, killing him. His driver survived by pretending to be dead. Under heavy German fire, the resistance withdrew, escaping in their cars. The entire operation lasted just 1 minute and 40 seconds. While successful, it came at a great cost. 4 of the 12 resistance members involved lost their lives. In retaliation, the Germans executed 300 Polish prisoners. 3 days later, on February 4th, 1944, Kutscherę's funeral and wedding took place. To have Kutscherę's corpse ready for the wedding, hospital staff spent 3 days covering up the gunshot wounds, one of which had gone through his eye. His body was taken to the presidential palace, then called the Deutsches Haus, which served as the main cultural center for Germans in Warsaw. Details of the strange wedding ceremony came to us through Teodora Żukowska, a spy for the Polish resistance, who witnessed it all. The bride was 26-year-old Norwegian Jane Lillian Steen, blonde and considered the ideal wife by Nazi standards, which was to be educated in history, fluent in foreign languages, able to ride horses, swim, drive a car, shoot a pistol, as well as run a household and cook. By contrast, the 40-year-old Kutscherę was a mass murderer of average height, stocky, with a dark complexion and hair. Inside the presidential palace, Kutscherę's body was placed upright in an open coffin so the bride could look him in the eyes. As Teodora Żukowska recalled, the bride was dressed in a beautiful wedding gown. It was clear that she was very pregnant, at least 7 months along. The wedding followed mysterious neo-pagan SS rituals conducted by the highest-ranking SS officer in attendance. Standing beside the open coffin, the bride vowed love and fidelity to the corpse. I imagine, "Till death do us part," was never spoken. The bride was also presented with a dagger and a ring, which had belonged to Kutscherę. However, the Norwegian bride received them only symbolically, as they were too valuable to the Nazis. After the ceremony, instead of a wedding party, Kutscherę's body was taken away to be buried. You might wonder, why would a woman agree to such a bizarre and creepy ceremony? The answer wasn't love. It was practical and had to do with money. It ensured financial security and state support for her and her child, but she had to be married to Kutscherę, and it didn't matter that he was dead. Hitler's directive from November 6, 1941 allowed women to marry dead soldiers to receive widow's benefits. After all the formalities were finished, Jane Lillian Steen, now officially Mrs. Kutscherä, returned to Norway. She later remarried, had 4 more children, and passed away in 1994 at the age of 75. Her son with Kutscherä, Franz Sepp Kutschera, died 10 years after his mother in 2004. What do you think of Jane Lillian Steen's reason for marrying the dead Kutscherä? Would you marry a corpse for money? Leave a comment below. Thank you for listening and take care.